So you put that plan in place that you were working on a few years before you retired. And now you've retired, and you've got a few years before you have to take your RMD. So, that RMD, just so you know, sorry, when I refer to that, that's when you're forced to take withdrawals from your retirement accounts. For most folks who haven't retired yet, you're going to be forced to take withdrawals from your retirement accounts at either the age of 73 or 75, depending upon the year that you were born. So I'm going to refer to these forced withdrawals as RMD from here on out. Now, I refer to this time between when you retire and when you have to take RMD as the sweet spot for tax planning, because there are lots of tax planning opportunities to take advantage of in these years. Lots of things that you can do and that you should be talking about with your investment advisor and your CPA. This is a time when you're talking about when should I take Social Security, but it's also the time when you're going to be in the lowest income tax bracket that you'll ever be in. And you should be thinking about if it makes sense to consider doing a conversion of some of your traditional IRA into your Roth IRA. So Tyler, I'm going to take a look at what were the results of the poll on how familiar people are with Roth IRAs. So for the most part, people are a little familiar, some familiar, a few experienced. So at a very high level, I'm just going to say that a Roth IRA conversion means that you take some of your traditional IRA and you move it into a Roth IRA. In the year that you do that, you pay the taxes on the amount that you convert into your Roth IRA. But the benefit of doing that is as long as you leave the money that you converted in that Roth IRA for at least 5 years after you do that, all of the earnings from that point forward after you do the conversion are tax-free forever. So it's a little bit of a catch-22. You pay the taxes early because you converted it before you had to and pay the taxes, but you don't have to pay taxes on the earnings ever. So the planning portion of that, of course, becomes like how long can you leave the money in there and not have to pay the taxes on the earnings? So for people who have lots of money set aside and you're planning your cash flow for retirement, converting the money to a Roth early could be a really good idea, particularly if you think that you ultimately might have your kids might inherit those IRAs. That way you've done it early, lots of tax-free earnings, and they might be inheriting some tax-free money when they inherit your estate. So you definitely want to be talking about Roth IRA conversions in your plan before you retire so that you can start executing it in the first year after you retire. And just in case you thought that you were worried about what you were going to do in retirement, well, you might have some other financial and tax planning to do if you have any. So don't worry, we're going to keep you busy. If you had any deferred comp or stock options or equity compensation that are still vesting, you have to think about that. You might have to consider the timing and tax impact of other windfall events like buying or selling a second home or selling a business or the payments on installment sales from the sale of your business. And while you can't plan the timing, you should still be giving some consideration to the impact of inheritances that you know will be coming your way and how it might affect your retirement plan. If you happen to have any inherited IRAs already, you should consider if it might make sense to accelerate taking more than the required minimum distributions during these sweet spot low tax bracket years. And now might also be a really good time to consider opportunities for rebalancing your portfolio if it makes sense from an investment perspective to take advantage of realizing some capital gains in your taxable investment accounts while you're in that sweet spot low income spot years. You've heard a lot about those capital gains, right? All of these things before and after retirement planning, action items should be part of those combined discussions you're having with your investment advisor and CPA as you enter retirement. And these aren't just a one and done discussion, but something that you should be discussing annually as you're within that 5-year period approaching retirement and thereafter.